Welcome guys, so Doug Bradley, the man, the myth, the legend, Pinhead himself, has come out and said, you know what, I'd love to play an older Pinhead. Let's do a Scarlet Gospels movie. Now this, just as an FYI, doesn't mean it's going to happen, obviously, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Doug Bradley doesn't really do a lot. Pinhead is his character in that sort of way, and yeah, would I like to see him come back? I don't know. I flip-flopped on this quite a lot over the years. Possibly. Would I like him to come back as a Scarlet Gospels movie? No. I didn't really like that book, not gonna lie. I know loads of people are really annoyed already, but there are far better Hellraiser stories out there, for sure. So anyway, let's take a look. Hit subscribe if you're new here, guys. Turn the bell notifications on. So here we have it. This is on Bloody Disgusting. And the title is what it is. Doug Bradley would love to play an older, darker Pinhead in a Scarlet Gospels movie. Again, does this mean it's going to happen? No, not at all. Does it mean he's actively campaigning for the role? Maybe. Maybe. What do you guys think? Would you like him to come back or not? And then, if you'd like him to come back, would you like him to come back in a Scarlet Gospels movie? Because again, that's quite a divisive... It is a very divisive movie. Book, sorry. So it would be a very divisive movie if they adapted it like for like. But let's take a look. So, demon to some, angels to others. Doug Bradley achieved horror icon status for his portrayal of Pinhead in Clive Barker's Hellraiser and its first 7 sequels. My God. Although he hasn't reprised the role since 2005, the consummate actor wouldn't rule out a return. And he said the following: I certainly never say never. I've never said I was done with it. I've never said I'm retired from it. He continues, I'm sensible about these things too. I was in my mid-30s when I first played the character, and I was just turning 50 when I played him the last time. I ain't in that age range anymore. I'm now in my 70th year, and to some extent, I think special effects makeup is a younger man's game, which is true for a few reasons actually. So, the length of time it takes. Does an old person, I'm not saying he's old, but just does an old person really want to be sat down for that long, being prodded and poked? Probably not. The face. So, as your face starts to sink, as you get jowls and things like that, it becomes more difficult to apply special effects makeup as well. It's difficult to recreate the same look as was before because the face structure has changed. Elasticity of flesh has gone south, as it were. So, yeah, he's right. It is a younger man's game in that way. But he says this. Doug Bradley's ideal circumstances for a return would be an adaptation of Barker's 2015 novel, The Scarlet Gospels, which concerns the end of Pinhead. If we did that, we could maybe present an older Pinhead to be aware of the fact that I am the age I am. That time and gravity does what time and gravity does. An older, darker Pinhead would intrigue me. One not so much in love with the flippant one-liners and the witty comebacks and so forth. He notes that the Scarlet Gospels' vision differs from that of Hellraiser. Christian theology was very much avoided in relation to the way that hell was talked about in the first Hellraiser movies. Clive typically blew that wide open with the Scarlet Gospels. It's very theological on the cosmological scale, which it is. Satan is literally in it. That would be the perfect bookend to my life in latex, if I can put it that way, he says, before reiterating that no such thing is in the works to his knowledge. I've never turned my back completely on the character, but realistically, I think that's probably that, and that's fine. So he's kind of admitting that he's probably done. I'm proud of what we did with the movies, and I'm proud of my work in it. I'm cool with being where I am now. It's true. For those that don't know, David Bruckner's Hellraiser pseudo-continuation thing. Pinhead was played by Jamie Clayton. Very positive response, generally speaking. Bradley said he had a positive response, coupled with a slight disappointment, to be honest. That's not a judgment on her at all, he says. I thought that the design elements of the remake were really the star of the show. I loved what they've done with the redesigns of the box. That metal grid around the house, I had no idea why it was there. But it was certainly very cool, and all the stuff going on up in the ceiling, great. But what? The metal grid was there to keep him safe. I thought that was patently obvious, to be honest. But alright! Bradley perked up when Clayton's Pinhead came on screen, and he said the following: I thought the redesign of the makeup was very cool. It was a bold thing to take on redesigning such an iconic makeup, and I thought they did a very good job with it. I loved the change of palettes. I loved the intestinal pinks and pale purples and so forth. Jamie is very slight. She's tiny across the shoulders. I was immediately intrigued by it and kind of sat up. When Pinhead first appears in Hellraiser, it's very in your face. In spite of the fact that I'm wearing a skirt, it's very macho, it's very masculine. It's here we are with Cenobites. We do this, we do that. Fuck with us and we'll tear your soul apart. It's very clear. Jamie looked rather doll-like and a little bit childlike. And I remember Clive's original description of the Pinhead Cenobite from the Hellbound Heart. It's gender unclear, had a light and breathy voice like that of an excited girl. And that was what I wanted to hear. We didn't get that. We got a voice that was rather close to the original Pinhead's voice. I wanted something that matched the image, something quiet, delicate, a little bit playful, but still with the threat riding through it. She wasn't really asked to do very much. There were some wonderful shots. There's the distant shot where she's standing on water outside the house. Beautiful, beautiful shot. But I felt she wasn't asked to be terribly provocative thereafter. So I was excited, intrigued, and ultimately a little bit disappointed, but not by Jamie's performance at all. Well, there you go. And this is because Doug Bradley's going off doing... well, he's in a movie called Thorns, a Hellraiser-inspired movie that melds themes of religion and science with practical effects. Interesting. Didn't even know that was a thing. So this is just him, an interview basically. And this is what it looks like now. As you can tell, you know, it is unfortunate, but that is just age. It does, you know, things go south. And I'm not trying to be derogatory towards his physical appearance. It's not what I'm trying to do. But as you can see, the cheeks, they call them jowls, right? As they start to come down like this, it would be very, very difficult to create a very tight face-looking bizzo. But would I like to see an older Pinhead in general? Yeah, I think an older... Well, I mean, you'd have to explain why he got old, to be fair. So you'd have to explain that, because my thinking was Cenobites were timeless, so you'd have to explain why he's got old. But that would still be an interesting exploration, nonetheless. But bloody hell, not the Scarlet Gospels. God damn that film. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know. Take care. Bye-bye now.